Hi guys.
Hi.
Happy Monday.
Time went by so fast.
It really did. I feel like we just did this yesterday.
I know.
But this is a continuation of last week's. Last week we went over factors that seem important for a company's success and an affiliate success, but really are not important. So this week we're going over factors that really are important for a company and affiliate success and how 4Life fits into those factors.
Awesome. This is going to be an exciting one today.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and just get started. What's the first one?
The first one, factor number one.
Ooh.
Founder and management who put their distributors before self-interest.
That is important for sure.
Take it away from here, girl. We are excited about this one because David and Bianca Lisenby, they are just amazing, and we're going to learn a little bit about them.
Absolutely. Okay, so first, why is this important? Every company develops strategies for a pay plan, like what products to promote or what kind of support they'll provide, a marketing strategy, a company structure, like whether it's going to be privately owned or publicly traded. There's more things, but that's basically the gist of it. Now, the study that was done by research and marketing consultants examined the reasons that several hundred companies went out of business, and attrition was the number one reason. But also many went out of business, turned conventional, sold out, or merged with another company because the owners put their self-interest before distributors.
Sad.
Mike Akins has been successfully involved in network marketing for over 50 years. And he's been in several companies. He's been in 4Life since it started, basically. I mean, a couple months after it started, he didn't join right away because he wanted to make sure at the end of this study that found those success factors that 4Life really fit into those factors before joining. So you have to remember that Mike has had a lot of experience in this industry, even with companies that have merged or closed because of self-interest founders and management. So he has experience with knowing, people that put their self-interest before their distributors, and also just people who put their affiliates before their own self-interest, or just really have a humanitarian mindset. So Mike shares, I was impressed with David and Bianca Lisenby's humanitarian mentality even before they started 4Life. The following are a few examples of founders putting self before their distributors. So example one, Mona V. So it's a Utah-based MLM company. It was started in 2005, went out of business in 2015. It was a very fast-growing company that, in my opinion, this is Mike sharing this, had the wrong marketing strategies. By 2008, it had achieved $154.9 million in annual revenue. In 2014, Mona V defaulted on a $182 million note. Janess purchased the note and acquired Mona V. So the founders, Dallin Larson, Randy Larson, and Henry Marsh, retired in July of 2014 amid the company's financial struggle. So the point is that the founders deserted their distributors in the middle of a financial crisis. So what did Mike have to say about that?
First of all, that is so sad.
It's very sad
that they're like, bro, I am done. I am out of here.
Yeah.
You guys can fend for yourself. And people that had invested their money and their time into that business, it's gone. It's gone.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to point that out. That is very sad.
Yes.
But Mike shares David and Bianca, the founders of 4Life, would not desert their distributors because they are humanitarians. Before they even started 4Life, he was so impressed, by the way that they developed 4Life and the heart that went behind it. There are so many stories that we could tell. Maybe we'll make a video on it because they have done so much. It touches my heart. But yeah, that's what Mike had to say.
Yeah. Okay. So example number 2 of companies putting their self-interest before their affiliates. So Zango, a Utah-based MLM company that was founded in 2002, was acquired by Zija International in May of 2017. So in October of 2007, the company said that cumulative sales since its inception were over $1 billion. And by November 2008, it had exceeded $1.5 billion. That's a lot of money. Yeah. So in December 2012, Direct Selling News reported that Zango concluded its first 10 years of operations with sales operations in 43 countries, 27 office locations, 49 distribution centers, and more than 2 million distributors, and about $2 billion in cumulative revenues. Wow, that was okay. So what's the problem here? They sound really successful. So what could be the problem? They had greedy founders and investors. Okay. So let's go through the T here. We have receipts. So in 2007, the Utah Supreme Court overturned a 4th District Court ruling that dismissed a lawsuit that was filed by Angel Investors LLC, alleging that Zango's founders took millions of dollars in personal loans from the company and paid themselves excessive salaries while wasting corporate assets.
Oh,
that's crazy. That's number 1. Number 2, in 2009, the Utah Supreme Court gave a green light to a Zango investor to proceed with a suit that alleges corporate looting and mismanagement of millions of dollars by the company's founders for their personal expenses, including luxury cars and performance-enhancing medical treatments. Number 3, you thought I was done. Number 3, in 2010, Zango settled with angel investors for an undisclosed amount of money. So they said angel investors who had owed no more than 1% of Zango had charged in 3 lawsuits in Utah County that the founders deprived them of some of the return on their investment. So as you can see with all 3 of these examples, greed. I mean, you can clearly see it. Yeah. So the founders put their self-interest before distributors. So greedy founders and investors will affect a company and a distributor's success. Now, Mike shares, as a side note, that also wrong marketing strategies sink this company. Even when a company survives 15 years with wrong marketing philosophies and strategies, it will eventually go out of business.
Yep.
And we talked about this last week, and we talk about it all the time. These factors that lead to a company's success, if you're missing one, you are not going to have long-term success. Your company is not going to have a long-term success. So it's important to find a company that meets every factor that leads to success.
Right.
Because Mike financed that study because he saw so many people who had such great potential losing out on that long-term success with a company for various reasons. And he didn't want to put his members and, their families through that again. So that's why he financed this study. That's why these factors were found in the study. So Mike shares, having founders who are humanitarians and a management team who is also humanitarian minded means that they will always take their distributors into consideration when making decisions. Also, 4Life does not have investors. We don't have to mess with investors who are only looking at the company and its affiliates as dollar signs. Investors are only in it for themselves. They want the most return on their investment and don't think about the distributors when making decisions. When you go public with investors, they have shares in your company. You have a right to vote on CEOs and board members. So you can, this is a side note from me, you can surround yourself or put into the company people who only care about the dollar amounts when you have investors.
Right.
So Mike says an Herbalife investor tried to control Herbalife and got the FTC involved in trying to manipulate Herbalife. Herbalife got fined hundreds of millions of dollars. And when Mike talked to David before Mike joined 4Life, David said he would never go public on the stock exchange. And 23 years later, he has kept that promise.
He sure has. Thanks, David.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
we appreciate you. Okay, what is factor number 2 that is very important for a company's success?
Okay, so factor number 2, promoting a product that is not easily copied or is totally different than anything else on the market. Also taking advantage of shift in industrial trends. There are so many trends that come and go. And the problem is that they come and they go,
Right.
which you don't want that because, I mean, it's just going to end up like all these other companies.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So Mike shares on this factor, Amway, Herbalife, and Forever Living are multi-billion-dollar annual sales companies now. He says, in my opinion, if they were starting out in today's market, they would not succeed. And you may be asking why. He says they were leaders in their category of nutrition. So Amway was a leader in the trend of consuming vitamins, minerals, and nutritional supplements back in the 50s. Herbalife was the leader in the herb trend in the 1980s, and Forever Living was the leader in the trend of aloe vera drinks in the 1970s. If each of these companies were starting out in today's market, they'd be competing with other companies that offer competing nutrients.
yeah.
So they'd also be fighting with the one-up strategy of adding another ingredient to the base to ride the wave of juices or herbs, but also be different than the competing companies that sell the same juice or herbs or vitamins and minerals. So as example, if you have a company or an ingredient that you found this special juice on some mountain somewhere, you know, if that's very easy to manufacture, other companies can take that and be like, oh, well, you don't just want our juice because it's an awesome juice. You want our juice because it's better than theirs because we added this to ours.
Like water. They're like, this came from the top of the top mountain and no one else can go. But then this other company is like, wait, well, we have this even more special
with
thing
it
that
infused with berries.
Yeah.
See. Okay.
the one up.
Yeah. So how is 4Life different? So 4Life is the leader of the immune system revolution. So we're known as the immune system company. There's no other immune system product that can educate the immune system or simultaneously upregulate the immune system in one area of the body and downregulate in another area. So transfer factor formulas do not have much competition even after 23 years in business. So this is a very complicated scenario that is not easily duplicated. So how did 4Life achieve this is the question. So we'd first like to pause to clarify that in this next section, we're going to be talking about transfer factors, but also 4Life's transfer factor in certain parts. So we refer to transfer factors and not just 4Life's transfer factors to give you an idea how transfer factors work in the body. You already have transfer factors inside of you. So keep in mind that 4Life's products are not intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease. They have been proven, we can say this, to increase the amount of immune system cells in the body. They've been proven to bolster NK cell activity, including other immune system cells like B cells, T cells, macrophages. They've been proven to do these things. Our products have been proven to do these things.
Right.
When we refer to transfer factors in general, those are studies or statements that can be made on transfer factors in general, but not tied to 4Life's transfer factors. Now they are they're not species specific, so they can be taken across species. But it's very important to realize that legally. So just want to clarify that. Okay, so point A on how 4Life achieved this, being an immune system revolution usher. Okay, so transfer factors create a completely new category of nutrition. So just reiterating, there's no other immune system product that can do all that transfer factors can do. They educate the immune system while simultaneously upregulating the immune system in one area and downregulating in another area. And it tailors its approach to your body's specific needs. So do you want to share what Mike says on this?
Absolutely. So Mike shares, for example, mangosteen and other products can do what Nani can't do. He believes every nutritional product formula has other nutrients that can do the same things. Transfer factor is the exception. Transfer factor offers education to the immune system. It educates the immune system how to recognize, respond to, and remember viruses, bacteria, fungi, and parasites, which still amazes me even after all these years.
It's awesome. It's like you can compare it to how your body reacts as a secondary response to being stimulated to something.
Right.
So at first it's stimulated and it's like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do with this. It, responds to it. And next time it can recognize the threat because it knows what it looks like. Then it can respond to it. And also remember those different characteristics for whatever that threat was. The great thing about transfer factors is that it remembers characteristics of a threat, not just the threat. So if let's just use as an example, we've had this in one of our videos on our YouTube channel. If Bob came and punched someone in the face, I mean, we probably don't have this exact example, but I'm just going to use this. If Bob came up and punched someone in the face, okay, and he just ran away, okay, you're like, what just happened? You remember that, okay? So you're going to be on alert, just making sure that you never see Bob again, or at least
or if
you're
you
ready.
do, then you're like ready.
Right.
To,
What if Bob came up to you and had red hair, or he shaved his head, or he dyed his beard? Would you recognize him is the question. Transfer factors are able to enable your body to recognize the red hair. So anytime it sees red hair, it's like, I remember red hair. That's everything that's, every red-headed thing has been a threat. So I'm just going to be, aware of this red-haired thing. It doesn't matter who it is. It has red hair. So it's just on alert. But yeah, that's just a total side note.
Like when you smell something like a candle and it makes you think of a memory from your childhood.
Yeah.
I've totally had that happen. Or like if I see a certain like swing set or something, I'm like,
You're like,
I
remember that. Yeah. See? Okay. So number 2 on how 4Life achieved being their own, they ushered in their own revolution. Let's see. Most other founders and CEOs look for some exotic nutrient, we were talking about this earlier, with a low manufacturing cost to maximize profit and put together formulas that any one of hundreds of manufacturing companies could produce. So Miranda's Noni juice was copied within a year and within a few years was copied by dozens of MLM companies and conventional nutritional companies. So every company must address this challenge if they want long-term success. And just a side note, long-term success for a company means that you can reach true residual income. Because if you're putting in the work now and you're trying to reach that residual income and the company lacks one of the factors for success, it's going to crumble at some point. So you're not going to have that true residual income. Okay.
Right.
Anyways, so most founders begin a company with the primary focus of making money. David Lisenby retired from network marketing to research nutritional products for his loved ones. When he came across studies on transfer factors, it was so amazing, and he knew that it could revolutionize the health of tens of millions of people. Also, he knew that network marketing could spread the word faster than going through pharmacies or conventional businesses. Mike shares, I personally believe that we are very blessed to have transfer factor products. I believe it took someone like David to bring this product to the market successfully. He was focused on bringing transfer factor to the market and knew that they would create a revolution in health. He was determined to make it happen. And as a side note, if you're thinking, well, why, maybe you have that question, why did he know that network marketing would spread the word faster than through like stores or pharmacies? Because the product needs a little bit of an explanation. You can put that on a bottle, but it's a lot easier to sell a product or to introduce a product to somebody when you are an affiliate of the company and you have a really good understanding of that product. You specialize in that product. You can introduce it to more people in a better way. You see the opportunities around you versus if it was on a shelf, it would have to do its own selling.
Right.
So what's the next point?
The next point is 4Life has to manage a process from cow to capsule. The manufacturing process is very specific. Many companies would not mess with this whole process. That's why 4Life wants to, be the manager of it, because it's so precious what they do. They want to make sure that it's perfect for everybody who takes it. So to learn more about this process, a quick little plug is our YouTube channel, which is
DiamondsR4Life YouTube channel.
So
we have a video called Cow to Capsule that explains the whole process. We had Shane guest on that week's training on the whole manufacturing process. It's so interesting, actually. So I encourage you to watch it. Okay. Another reason to bring transfer factors to the market at a reasonable price, David and Bianca had to make serious sacrifices and weather troubled waters for a period of time. So they mortgaged their house and stayed strong until the sales volume grew. They believed in these products, and most founders would let the company go when it comes to such a sacrifice. So another point to get transfer factor into millions of lives, David knew that he needed to understand it better to stay on the cutting edge of discovery. So he knew he needed to have an in-house scientific team to keep 4Life on the cutting edge.
Wow, David.
Yeah, David's so cool.
I know.
And he's really kind-hearted.
And his wife, I've met them before and they're so sweet.
They're the sweetest for sure. So just to reiterate, clarifying that we talked about transfer factors in general and also 4Life transfer factor in certain parts of this section. We're referring to both to give you an idea of how transfer factors work in the body, but also how our products are able to work in the body. So just keep in mind that 4Life's products are not intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any diseases. So that's all for this week, guys. And I hope that you took your recall because that was a lot of information. Hopefully you retained it. Hopefully things make a little bit more sense. And as always, feel free to leave comments with feedback or questions. Next week, we have 4 more points to go over in this series, important factors for success for a company and you. So if you want to understand that a little bit better, definitely come back next week, 8 p.m. Central Time, here on Facebook Live, here on Zoom. We'll be uploading these to our YouTube channel the day after. So we will keep you guys posted. Yeah, leave comments, questions. We will answer them. It's been real.
It's been fun.
It's also been real fun. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.